shit like
It's
that.
5:33.
You mind just going live with the pre-loop if you're ready? Oh, you're the man. All right.
That's why he's here.
Brandon, do you need Brandon to go over how the mouse works again?
Yeah, I do. If you could just stand behind me and remind me each time in case I forget.
Hey, am I all right on the shot? And is my mic good and everything like that? I just want to make sure.
There have been 2 different times when Brian's on the board that we can't hear anybody.
Which,
Right.
yeah, no,
Being
we've
on
that's
the board and being on camera would be basically impossible.
I'm gonna get on the Twitter sphere and just tease our guests here.
Yeah, you do that. We got a huge guest tonight. Can't say who, but we got a huge guest tonight.
I'm joining in solidarity. I was giving the opportunity. I'm like, no, I'm gonna be surprised too.
You're gonna be surprised.
They pop in. I'm with you. I have no idea who's gonna pop in.
Well, my eyes aren't that good, so someone's gonna probably have to write it on a cue card for me. Make sure we get it. No, you're gonna say the name because I don't
I'll
want
say
to
the
be.
name.
Yeah,
I'll say the
What's
name.
gonna be awesome is you're gonna build this up and we're gonna pop on.
and it's gonna be Wade Hogue, and I'm gonna be
No.
like,
No,
motherfucker.
it's gonna be someone you don't even know who it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, introduce me like,
It's that,
Yeah.
that kid from the golf team.
It's the kid from the golf. And the only reason I remember it's like, dude, because you had a kick-ass mullet, so I totally remember you. You're probably my kind of guy. Dude, I went and looked that kid's numbers up.
Yeah.
He's a stick.
Hold on, just a second. Is our mics are live, aren't they? Test.
they're on, but they shouldn't be coming through on top of the media. Right?
Well, if
No,
they
they
have
shouldn't
been
be, but it's all right. We
have
haven't
been.
said anything.
No.
We haven't said anything awful.
too terrible,
Yeah.
other than my co-host. Hey.
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. We're back. Good evening, everyone.
I am so excited for tonight.
He's a little bit more excited than I am. We'll explain in a moment. By the way, it is not 42 degrees inside the studio, even though Hurley over here is like dressed like he's going on an Antarctic expedition. But
I'm going to give a shout out to Hutch over in the athletic department. I have been jealous of these athlete and coaches jackets.
it's pretty nice.
Every time I've been over to Pullman, I have cornered athletes and been like, I'll give you
some money
give
for
you
your
$1,000
jacket.
for that jacket. And I've been turned down every time. I know university staff who have waited years to get this, and Hutch opened up they opened it up to everybody. They put it on Twitter. So this is I bought one and Cassie bought one, and we walk around town. If it's under 70 degrees in Snoqualmie, we are wearing these jackets. And they are the
They
most
probably come in handy for those November games.
it's the most comfortable just security blanket too. Like, if I have a tough meeting coming up, I'll just put this on. It's great. So
That's awesome.
but Bill shows up. I work here, so I go straight from work mode to collectively
Now
Crimson
you
mode.
throw on some attire.
Bill, he commutes in, gets in the Coug zone, and then marches in. But half the time he comes in, he's like, "Where's your Coug gear?"
That's right.
And today I was really proud of myself for having this, and he kind of made fun of me. So
Well,
I think I look pretty good. This is not a slimming black by any means,
it's a nice jacket.
but I love this jacket. So thank you, Hutch.
Let's
Appreciate you,
remind
man.
everyone it is Wednesday, March 25th. This is Collectively Crimson. And if you're not a member of the 1890 Club, what's up with that? Links are down in the description box to do that. Links down in the description box where you can get your old Crimson Lager, your old Crimson cocktail, all the good stuff. All Old Crimson coffee. Check out the Old Crimson store. All linked up down there in the description box.
Now we had a fun board meeting this week where
We
we
did.
talked about like some potential new Old Crimson stuff. And you have an idea for an Old Crimson
I do.
product.
I do, but I actually like your idea better of expanding the Martin Stadium experience, enhancing it.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
Let's talk about what we
my
can.
idea
I
is
haven't
a
gotten
little less
anything approved
controversial.
yet.
I think my idea is a little more controversial than yours.
Okay. I think, look, Playfly is doing some awesome stuff as far as one, just revenue generating, but matching up with brands. And they've done a good job of getting into the West Side here and matching up with brands on the West Side.
They
I haven't
have.
heard from Athletics for way too long.
Yep.
They don't love all of my ideas. So I'm trying to pitch. I'm trying to hard
But
pitch
you got
my
one
ideas.
that I think is pretty.
Okay, picture this.
This is a good idea, actually,
I've already gotten a soft no from the athletic department.
which is
But
better than a hard no.
and also like they haven't heard me say it
That's
yet.
true. They haven't heard the
Right,
Hurley
so-
pitch.
Look, assuming we can get a sponsor for something like this,
Like Aquaquip, Cougar owned company.
or something similar, but just I want a hot tub or hot tubs on the field or in the stadium
No, back there in that deep part of the end zone, opposite down on the scoreboard side.
or behind the Crim Zone, right in front of the facilities
Dude,
building,
Why
right
not?
there. How much I would pay for a seat, especially in those December games.
Oh.
I'd pay for a seat in there. So I think that would just be obviously a great sponsor opportunity,
It would
but
be.
also think about just how much fun from a game. Like
That would be pretty epic.
that'd be pretty epic.
It'd be pretty epic.
I gotta look. The NCAA has come really far. Playfly's out there doing a great job. I think they're getting pretty close to selling that jersey patch,
Yep.
which I think will be a massive win for whoever buys that. It's out in front of a number of folks right now, and it's going to get sold. I'm really curious to see who wins the opportunity to
The
do that,
opportunity to do that.
because that's going to be think about what's your favorite Coug picture, whether it's basketball or football or soccer or whatever. Just think about that picture and then think about like having just a brand's logo on the kid's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like Tyler Helinski getting carried off the field,
That's a good one.
or
Bobo and CJ in the back of the
yes,
end zone.
that's what I'm
buried in
talking
snow.
about. Yeah,
Right,
or
that's
just
a
a
good one.
slam
Sean
dunk.
Bay doing snow angels in the end zone. That's a
Slam
good one
dunk,
too.
whatever it might
Yeah.
be. Just imagine that. And those are pictures that, I got pictures all over my wall here of just imagine a brand, right? So I'm just pumped for it. It's stuff that like I'm proud of the NCAA for pushing it through. And I'm stoked to see what happens with all that stuff.
Listen, before we
But
bring
hot tubs would be
before
sweet.
we bring our first of two guests, of which tonight I only know who one of our guests is
So
because
good.
everyone else around here is playing games right now with your podcast. They're playing games. I just want you to understand that. But let's give a shout out to all the folks that put on night with WSU Athletics in Seattle.
Big time. Let's start with Brandy, who picked the new location.
Fantastic.
What was the name of it again? I forget.
Victory Hall.
Victory Hall.
Right
It's-
across
it's
from the baseball stadium.
Old
right
Pyramid Brewery.
Yep.
God, what a location. It
Fantastic.
didn't feel stuffy. It felt like a Coug party,
It did.
and then
And then we drank like Cougs that night, which is a good thing because we're trying to raise money.
well, and also it was just a fun, like we've all been to tons of fundraisers and some of them are great and some of them are, I think the big factor is who you can get there.
Yep.
And who sets the tone. But God, that was
It was
a
a good
fun
night.
freaking night.
And we're not saying that because I've been doing, it used to be called Night with Cougar Football.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of expanded out more like Night with Cougar Athletics. Football still being the focal point of it,
Yeah.
though. And I've been to a whole lot of them. They used to have them in Bellevue all the time over there at the Hyatt. I almost saw Mahmood accidentally cut Mike Leach's head off with a sword one time at the World Trade Center down in the Seattle waterfront. No joke.
We're gonna have to expand on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you get a Persian, a sword, and a whole lot of red wine together. Things can get real crazy.
Dude, I have not heard this story.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'll tell it sometime. I'll tell it sometime. So, do you want to tell them about both of our guests, or are we gonna keep them all waiting as well?
Well, look, we've got two big guests, and our first guest is in the waiting room already.
First time to be a repeat guest on the podcast too.
True.
The
Good
first two
point.
timer.
Yes. So one of our favorite Cougs, Mr. Zevi Eckhouse, is here. He's going to fill us in. He's got pro day
Pro
coming
day.
in. He's been training. I want to hear how life.
Is he doing this thing without a shirt on and everything, just showing us how just absolutely?
Maybe he's got a
yoked
cool
he's-
jacket like me. I don't know.
No, he's probably completely.
And then
yoked.
our guest after that
Is?
is a surprise guest, and we'll get there. I don't want to take the thunder away from Zevi. I've told Bill a couple times. It's about as big as you can get as far as guests for a Coug podcast. Who have your guests been so far?
I want you to understand that you're really
This is
setting
driving him
yourself
nuts.
up. Wait,
So Bill is a trial attorney. He goes into nothing unprepared.
that's right. I have
Yes.
never asked the question
This guy
once that I
comes
didn't already
in
know
with
the answer
notes
to.
written.
Yes.
With notes like with stats and everything. So to not be prepared is driving him bonkers.
It is a little.
It's
it
making
is.
me so happy. So
so
Cassie knows.
I will tell you this.
I
though.
know.
The way you've been setting it up.
Yeah.
You if you don't pull out some really wickedly good guess, you have set yourself up for failure. My
I
friend.
already know who I've got lined up.
I know you do.
So tell me who would be a wickedly good guess.
I would actually like to have Clay Thompson on. That would be a really good guest. I mean,
That would
seriously,
be-
if you talk about an impact,
That would
on-
be really cool.
It would be really cool because you're talking about some of the huge of the huge,
Mhm.
right? And at a time where we probably should do a little soul searching about our basketball program.
Ooh. Didn't even think about that.
Oh, you did you?
No.
Huh? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be critical, but if you take a look at excitement level,
Mhm.
the excitement level about football is off the charts right now. The excitement level on basketball is not really even chartable.
Fair.
And I'm not trying to be critical of anything because I don't think that's what we want to do here at Collectively Crimson. But, there are certain objective criteria that we look at, like wins, losses, and attendance. Those seem to be really good objective criteria. And I don't think that what we're seeing out of the men's basketball program right now is what we as Cougs like to see, especially going into this new conference. And we got Gonzaga that's going to literally become a conference rival. I'm just
No,
saying
these
that
are great points to ask.
if our guest happens to be, if I get it right, what do I get if I got it right?
You're gonna be so happy. Like you don't need a prize, right or wrong. You're gonna be so pumped.
Wow,
So if,
I will be pumped.
and I'm
It's
not
Clay.
saying it is, but
Yeah, well,
if it is
That'd be-
Clay,
that'd be cool.
those are great. See, you're prepared. If it's Clay,
I can think on my
yeah.
feet.
All right, but you know what? I don't want to. I feel like teasing this big secret guest is almost like
Yeah, because
undermining
we got
a legend in our midst that we already know
well,
of
and
right
someone
now.
we're really pulling for. We're really rooting for this kid.
Yes.
Right? I mean, every Coug is rooting like crazy for this kid. So let's get
Let's
him on.
bring him on.
Yeah.
Zebby Eckhouse, what's going on, man?
How you guys doing? How are you
There
guys?
he is.
Good.
How you doing? Welcome back to Pullman. You're in Pullman right now.
I'm in Pullman right now.
When did you
Thank
get
God.
into town?
Late Monday night. I got in late
Okay.
Monday. Yeah.
Okay. And Pro Day is officially when?
Pro Day is officially next Monday, March 30th.
Next Monday. Okay. So you're in town for a bit now.
Yeah, about a week or so. About a week
Yeah.
or so.
You just don't get to do the Coug lifestyle right now because you got Pro Day still in front of
I
you.
know.
So
All right.
Can we tell which hotel he's staying at based on the painting behind his head?
Not in a hotel. Not in a
Oh,
hotel.
okay.
So this is what I want to know. What have the last few months been like for you to get prepared for what's coming up next week? Because I mean, I can't imagine the amount of work that you had to put into it, but kind of walk us through that.
Yeah. A lot of the same training, format really for the past 3 months. I went to New Jersey to train with a program called Test Academy. And they're just really focused on the specific drills that we're going to be assessed on for the pro day. So you have the 3-cone, you have the 5-10-5 or the shuttle, obviously you have the 40. I'm a quarterback, so I'm not benching, but you got your broad jump, your vert, and the biggest thing for me as a quarterback is obviously the throwing. So just having a QB coach who was Tony Rasiopi out in Jersey, getting me prepared for the big day. But yeah, just a lot of the same repetition of those drills, trying to master them.
I think a lot of people just assume, okay, you're coming out of the season, so you're going to be, in peak shape, but you got to be coming out of the season, anybody a little beat up, a little dinged up. How does that factor into your training for this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, everybody was different. We got going January 5th, which is pretty typical for guys to start. And yeah, like you said, we finished December 22nd was our bowl game. And then, yeah, like within 2 weeks, you're hitting the floor running again. What they did was, if you came in and you were nursing something or something was bothering you, they had a PT place on deck. They weren't rushing anybody. It's a long program, especially for us. Wazoo has probably one of the later pro days. So, if you had to nurse something or make sure something was okay before you really, really got back to it, you took a little bit of time off. Thankfully for me, nothing too serious,
Nice.
just bumps and bruises. And I was able to start on time. And yeah, it's been a long process. It's been 3 months. It's a whole college football season right there, after the college football season. So I'm excited for this Monday.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, conditioning is probably the number one thing, but have you been getting coached on technique as well now that you've been working with the things that maybe you were doing in college, but maybe at the NFL level now they're going to want a couple things done a little differently, or is that part of the learning curve that you're going through right now also?
For sure. Yeah. So the QB coach, like I said, Tony Rasiopi, he's had a lot of great guys that he's worked with. One of the more recent guys that he did for his pro day was Kenny Pickett when he was coming out of Pitt. And he had a couple guys last year that got into the NFL. There was one out of North Dakota State, Tim Boyle. I mean, he's worked with plenty of guys. So for me, obviously there's room for growth for every athlete, for every quarterback. And there were a couple things that, over college, just habits that I had kind of picked up on that, could be tweaked a little bit and help me become better as a passer. So some just mechanical things, footwork, the non-throwing arm, the way my hips, were kind of, coming through to throw, just changing little things like that. It helps a lot. The small things make a big difference. So a lot of that, I worked on with him. There were times where we would go in the classroom and just talk football, talk coverages, talk schemes, talk about what beats what. Terminology, that they use in the NFL, so you're kind of familiar with the verbiage that we're going to be getting into. Pretty much is, all the information that he could share with us to have us prepared for this next step in our lives.
Pretty intense.
Yeah. So, okay. Physically, these workouts, are these harder than what you'd be going through in a practice or like in a summer camp or anything like that? Or is this like pretty on par with what you'd experience at a D1 program?
It's a little different because they're trying to get you, an L cone is 30 yards, a shuttle is 20 yards. Obviously the 40 is 40 yards. So you're really just trying to master these drills. It's funny. I was at the facility these past couple of days talking to some of the guys, and I was like, look, I miss you boys, but I don't miss those mat drills, that we were doing. But, I mean, those winter workouts are brutal. They're designed to tear you apart, so that you can be at your best physically. Whereas this training, they're trying to make you obviously into the best version of yourself, but there's also kind of the hazard side where you don't want to push too much because obviously you get one shot at this, and the date is the date, and if you're not available for it, it's an unfortunate situation that some people get put in, but you have to be healthy for this time. So they're pushing you, especially earlier on. You're getting pushed in January, a little bit in February, but as you get closer to your pro day, they just want to make sure that you can master those drills that you're going to be assessed on, and the rest is up to us to go out there and accomplish.
Okay, so you're always somebody who's been able to exude calm, right, in under stressful situations, and I think about just what you were able to overcome in this past season at WSU. What are you doing to kind of keep your nerves cool leading up to, it's a pretty momentous day for most athletes.
Big day, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I've kind of liked to visualize the competition or whatever it may be. I know it was something that I did a lot, during the season. Just trying to see every type of outcome, seeing a good outcome, seeing maybe an outcome I'm not so proud of, seeing how I can respond from that, outcome that I wanted better. So by the time that I show up to the competition, I've already seen everything. So it's just up to me to go out there and compete. I'm really not even compete, more so display. I'm not competing with anybody. I'm going out there and just, displaying who I am as an athlete and as a quarterback. I think
that's super interesting. Sorry to interrupt you, but you said something that I haven't heard an athlete. We hear a lot of athletes talk about how they visualize, going out there and doing the right things. You're the first one I think who I've heard say, "Hey, what happens when things don't go my way?" Walk me through that.
Yeah,
why that's super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's, nope. I don't think there's ever been a player that has went through a game where they felt like they did everything perfectly. They did. Obviously, you feel good about certain games. You made a lot of good plays, but it's rare that you watch film and you're like, "Oh yeah, I was perfect." And if you are, maybe you're not as critical on yourself. But there are obviously times in games, or that might even present itself on Monday where, I wanted to do something better than I could have, or I didn't get the number, the outcome that I was looking for. But it's it's important for, especially as athletes, to not let that result kind of deter you from going out and getting your best at something else. You can't let a turnover, interception, a fumble, a turnover on downs, an incompletion mess you up from your next play, because that's what they always say, the next play is the most important play, right?
Right.
So how can you make sure that you're putting your best foot forward on that play is by letting go of what happens. It's past tense, you can't change it, and just moving forward on what you can control.
I got a couple of questions. First of all, I want you to kind of help the viewer understand, come Monday when you're going, I'm assuming this is all done in the indoor practice facility. What's it look like? You got scouts from every one of these teams there, and what does the day for Zevi Eckhouse look like when you walk in there and step on the stage to do what you're capable of doing?
Yeah, for me, really just excited to be out there with the guys again. Obviously, my expectation is high for myself. It's always been that way, but just go out there and have fun. I think that's the most important thing. This is the last time that I am guaranteed to, throw a football in somewhat of a organized setting. Nothing's really promised after this. So it's just important for me to go out there and have fun. I want to have fun. I want to look back on this day, and especially after so many months of training for it, and so many freaking reps of the 40 and the 3 cone. And I mean, it's exhausting. It's tiring. I want to look back and be like, what? I went out there. I had a great time with my guys again. I displayed everything that I knew that I could. And the rest is not up to me. The rest is in God's hands. So just, walking in, smiling per usual, having a good time with the people I care about, and letting it rip.
Okay, my other question is this: you've been back in the building now, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, what's the energy like there? I mean, you're going to be really cognizant of this kind of stuff. What's the energy you're feeling around the building right now? We got a new coaching staff, got some new kids in, got a lot of kids coming back, which is fantastic. But what are you sensing?
The energy was good. The energy was really good from the 2 days that I've been in the facility. The first day I came in was Tuesday. It was yesterday. Went up to the 3rd floor, saw everybody in the training room, said hi. Went up to the 5th floor and met a lot of people, a lot of names, a lot of new faces. But everybody just was in a good, it was a good vibe to it. It was a good energy. There were a lot of people who they just seemed excited. They didn't know me. They didn't know who I was. I was with Adamola Falai, he was a tight end from this past year, and like just super eager to like introduce themselves to us, wish us luck on the pro day. The energy was good. You know when you come across like genuine people that I can reflect back on when I first came to WSU and walking on the 5th floor as opposed to that time yesterday, and just very, very nice people, nice individuals, very caring individuals. And from the players, every single just a common question for me is how do you guys like the new coaches when I talk to the players.
Right.
And yeah, they're all really hyped about it. They're all like very ecstatic. Everybody's been positive. They're all talking about their position coaches and how they like their position coach, how they differ from the past one, how they might be similar. But overall, the outlook's been pretty positive.
It's awesome. Good
That's
to hear.
so cool to hear.
Man, we are so excited to see what lies in front of you.
I have a couple questions. One big question though.
Yeah.
What are your plans for Monday night?
Oh yeah.
Like what's like it has got to be just you going to the Coug? What are you doing?
You going to Valhalla? You're gonna run into my kid up at Valhalla.
I will for sure be at the Coug. It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
You heard it here, guys. Monday night,
Buy the kid a
party
beer.
at Valhalla or
Buy
party at the Coug.
Buy the
Pro
kid
day
a beer.
party.
He's earned it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a decent chance he'll have enough money next time he's in
That's
town
right.
to buy
Then he'll
everybody
buy you
beer.
one
So
back. That's right. That's right. That's what we're
so
rooting
Monday
for.
night at the Coug.
That's right.
Zevy party.
Yeah. Wade Hogue, you're watching. You go ahead and prepay a bar tab over there
That's
right
a good
now.
idea.
Yeah.
Let's text him after the show.
We're gonna get a bar tab prepaid for you over there, Zev. How's that sound?
Okay. Oh, I like that. I'm sure.
Dude,
a lot of
kid,
guys
you've
will be
earned it.
happy as well.
You earned it because we've talked before. You played your ass off.
Monday
last year.
night, there will be some sort of thing going on at the Coug. We didn't talk to the Coug before this show. We're setting it up
For
right
those
now.
at the Coug, well, you're welcome.
Let's do
I hope
it.
the
You're
Coug is
welcome.
open on
Let's
Monday.
do it.
If not the Coug, we're going to V Hall on
Yeah.
Monday.
So go to the Coug first.
Monday,
If it's closed,
right.
go
We're going
across
to
the
V
street.
Hall.
There you go.
On a
Yeah.
Monday.
And drinks are on
Wow.
Wade Hogue.
Zevy, I'm so excited for you. I think we've told you before, but I think Cougs everywhere are so grateful for the leadership you've shown through some very uncertain times at WSU. And man, I'm just excited for whatever's next for you, man. So
Thank you.
I'm not even going to say good luck because it sounds like you got everything you need right now, but just I hope you have a great day on Monday. And I'm so excited to watch all of this unfold, man.
Very proud to be able to call you a Coug, brother.
Thank you guys very much. Proud to be a Coug.
Yeah. All right. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. Thanks for joining us, Zevy.
Take care.
All right.
How do you not just absolutely ace the world to that
He's
kid?
the most likable Coug. And there's a lot of likable Cougs.
There's actually very few unlikable ones.
I know a couple.
Well, yeah, we all know a few. We all know a few.
I've been that unlikable
there is
Coug.
the human equation that
Yes.
comes into still being a Coug, right?
I'm pumped for him. I mean,
I'm super excited. And I think that whether his future actually lies as a professional football player elsewhere, wherever that kid decides to go, he's going to be immensely successful.
I 100%. If you could buy stock in a human, I'd buy stock
Yeah,
in Zebby.
That's a great way of putting it.
Like,
yeah,
that's actually, how is that not an app yet? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe that should be like an NIL app where it's like, okay,
You buy stock in a kid.
I'm taking 1% of your future earnings for X or whatever. That's that's a different idea.
Dude, this world is screwed up enough already, man. This world is screwed up enough already. Let's not screw it up anymore. Do we want to run an ad for somebody, or are we just going to go to our next guest?
I think I'm so excited for our next guest. Did you already see over Brandon's shoulder?
So the problem is I got readers on so I could see my notes, which means I can't really see over there. And he's been doing a pretty good job at kind of shoulder shaking me a little bit too. So this will actually be a moment of total surprise for me.
Okay, I am gonna like it's a game of.
No, we're not going to play a game.
This
You're just
is
gonna
your
introduce
life,
him.
you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask this.
How about
guest,
we play a game of called To Tell the Truth? How's that for a
God,
game?
you're such a good lawyer, but no. Are you sure you're not like a cop, dude?
I
You've
am
been just
abso-
grilling
I am
me all afternoon.
absolutely certain
All
I'm
right,
not a police officer.
Brandon, if you could load up our next guest, and then I'm going to ask that guest to just say a couple words into the microphone and see if Bill can guess who it is. Okay. Guest,
You guys
are
there?
ready?
Can you hear me? I lost audio. As soon as Zebby left, I lost audio.
Wade, welcome to the show, my man.
Well, I stand by what I said. Clay Thompson would have been a big guest.
You guys
Yeah.
there for sure? I got no audio from you.
Wade, we've got you.
We got you, Wade. You're doing great.
I don't think Wade can hear us. I'm going to text him. Hold on just a second. Wade. I'm just getting death glares.
You're not getting death glares. I mean, you just get me all jacked up.
All right. Wade, can you hear us yet? He can't hear us yet. Hold on. This is Wade. Turn your volume on.
You know, this would be mildly humorous if we could actually just get launching into this interview. But now we got the human rain delay, which I call him that all the time. He is the human rain delay. And
Volume's
you see,
on.
there he is. Now he's.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I've got no audio. Let me see if I can switch off of the speaker.
Okay.
But as soon as Zebby
So
left,
I'm glad
I
for those
lost
of you
all
watching
audio.
live. Our apologies on many levels. For those of you watching on replay, if you just had to endure that,
nothing there
piss on
either.
the guy who's supposed to be editing this stuff because they should have cut that out. And you're over here just having the best time. This is like, oh, we pranked Bill good this time.
You guys hear me now?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
the whole time. Can you hear us?
All right, you guys commiserate for 2 seconds. Let me log
Yeah,
out.
we've been
Log back
commiserating
in.
for a lot
Got
longer than
nothing
that. That is going to be
Wade's
the theme
down in
for
Key
tonight.
West. What time
This
is
is
it
gonna
in
be
Key
the
West
theme.
right now? It's
Well,
about
yeah, we appreciate it's. It would be a little after 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Who did you think it was?
Well, the funny thing is, dude. All right. I literally out there was like, "Oh, what'd you get? Like freaking Wade Hogue, didn't I?"
You see
And
how,
you guys, so
you see how deftly I
Yeah,
just-
no,
I matrixed
yeah,
that.
right. And then I'm over here like really name dropping, right? Before we went on air, I'm like name drop, like, well, Bledsoe would be good. Yeah, it's not Bledsoe.
It's not Bledsoe. I
Yeah,
did. I
I
was
did.
truthful. It was
Yeah,
not
yeah,
Drew
yeah.
Bledsoe.
You were, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I said
Wow.
John Olerud would be a good one.
I said it could be John Olerud.
Yeah. And then I said, and the one I would really, really like to have, it would be Clay Thompson.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I said it could be
It
him.
could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had
At
originally
no
thrown out
point-
the name.
You guys,
have
I
I
don't know
lied
what's
to you?
going on, but I seem to be losing speaker every time we.
I don't know.
You
Can
start
you hear us
talking.
right now?
Well-
This is a joke, right? This is
No,
this is an early
this is
April
Any
Fool's
better there?
because this is part of the bit, right?
No, it's
this
not
is
part
all
of the bit.
pre-recorded. We're gonna see how long it takes before Bill throws something into camera around here.
We may have to bring Wade on next time because I don't think we're able to get audio
Really?
to him. So,
Wow.
he's off of Starlink, off down there in Key West. So I don't know if he can hear us. So I think let's give it a couple more minutes, but it doesn't
let's
sound
do
like
that.
it's going.
Let's
so
do that.
before we dive in,
So just so everyone knows,
do you feel prepared to interview Wade?
oh, I'm completely prepared for this now. This is not the most challenging interview that I've ever had
Can you
to
guys
do,
hear me?
honestly.
I'm back.
we can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can hear you the whole time.
See,
Can you hear
I
us?
lose the audio every time, right when I talk.
Oh, that gave me a lot to work with that I'm not going to say
I don't know
there.
what to
But
tell you all.
All right. Well, we're gonna hang up with Wade, and we're gonna have Wade join us next time. But something's
the next
up.
time when Cassie's filling in for Bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Cassie can talk to Wade for who can't
No,
talk to
I
Wade
know. I
forever.
know. You listen. You all know I give him a hard time.
I'm gonna text him and just say, hey, thanks for trying.
Okay, I want to make the record clear here. I give Wade a hard time because it's enjoyable to do. It's fun to do. And Wade gives a lot of us a hard time also. But this is the truth. And I would like to get him on. There is no more generous Coug
Bingo.
on the planet with time and money and emotional support all the way around
Yep.
than Wade Hogue. And we have this kind of, yuck relationship. We're always joking with each other, always ripping on each other and that kind of stuff. But if he's take a step back, the level of generosity that you get out of Wade Hogue is unmatched by any other Coug. And Cougs are very generous people.
Yes. But Wade's one of those fun guys where you can just, if you just go, I'm going to talk, like there's been some fun phone conversations with Wade where they just go on and on
Oh,
and
yeah.
on and go.
And they're entertaining.
And they go down some rabbit holes and it's fun as hell. Oh, he's
Oh,
going to try
yeah?
one more
He's
time.
going to try one more time. Let's just keep talking because we know how this is going to go.
Well,
So,
hopefully it goes well.
Can you hear us
did you
now?
hear us this time?
Can you hear me?
We
We can-
always could hear you.
I couldn't, as I would get like 5 seconds in and it would drop
Oh,
off.
but-
it's like right
but
when it
you
switched
can
from
hear
Zebby, it
us.
wasn't
You could
happening.
hear.
You can hear us
I
though,
can-
right?
I can hear you now. Yeah. But
Oh, good.
I was trying on headphones and everything. Hopefully it stays that long, but at least, the phone calls won't go on and on and on and on tonight. So,
Yes,
I'm really,
by
Bill, I'm
by
really
keeping
sorry to
you
disappoint
here-
you. Yeah.
by keeping you here on the podcast, we are giving back several 30-minute phone calls to a lot of other members on the board today. So to the rest of the guys on the board, you're welcome for that time back in your life. We'll assume control of Wade for the next 30 to 40 minutes here. But thank you very much for being with us.
Wow.
We appreciate it.
I don't appreciate being picked on. You guys, you're talking about Drew Bledsoe, John Olerud, not those guys. You guys really are not great self-esteem boosters.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you
no,
that
I-
straight
no,
up and
Did you
down.
hear
Did
the
I-
conversation? Did you
I
hear
said
the
it was a big guest, the biggest guest you could get.
Did you hear all the other conversations we were having about how no Coug is more generous than Wade Hogue? Did you hear that part? Or would you like to?
I think you were worried if I could hear you at the time, that you were
Okay.
trying to make it
No.
feel better. But
I tell you what, Wade, because I love you to death, I'm going to recreate that conversation right now for you because I really wish you would have heard it.
look, I don't want
went
you
dead-
taking up my talking time.
That's by design. But no, listen, as you went dead, I said to Brian, in a world full of generous Cougs, there is no Coug who is more generous with time, his own money, and emotional support for other Cougs than Wade Hogue, and that is a fact.
That is a fact. So that
I
he's not
appreciate that.
capable of lying.
You guys have known me long enough that I don't take compliments that well, and
I know.
I'm honored and humbled that you guys would think that of me. Being a
Boast the
Coug is a
truth.
pretty special thing, and I appreciate that, but it's not the reason it's not the reason I do things, and I think you guys know that. My ultimate goal is the students and the student athletes, and being able to give back to them, and hopefully creating another person like my father or myself through education at Washington State is what's really important to me. I don't do it for the rah-rahs, and I think you guys, I think I told you that multiple times. I just kind of keep a lot of the stories that happen to ourselves.
Well, the one thing when you and I have had our moments of serious, deep conversations, which you actually can have with Wade, and they're very good, you have consistently talked about paying it forward. And that is a thing that has consistently been part of your messaging. And I kind of want you to walk our viewers there. I just want people to understand who Wade is and what truly motivates him, because it is a very genuine level of generosity. And I just want people to understand, because the world needs more Wades. And I'm being sincere about that.
Well, God, the world has gotten so ugly, recently in the past and everything, and everybody's so divided and stuff. I'm a big believer that if we take care of our own little part of paradise, whatever that may be, a lot of things would go a lot easier for ourselves and for other people. And I think that's important. For me, Washington State, Pullman, Big part of my life, big part of my father's life, my mother's life. You know, they're buried up there on the hill in Colfax, and so it's important to take care of the things that are important to you. I don't, you know, I think I've told this to many other people and stuff. I'm not a self-made guy. I haven't done all this stuff on my own. You know, I'm of the belief that anybody that ever tells you that is full of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of people help you out and push you forward and believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. And I think that's important. And I think it's even more important for those that you'll never meet. You know what I mean? That's, you know, for those that are, you know, benefiting from what we do after we're gone or whatever. I think it's important to have that legacy and to help people out and help young people out. And athletics and of course I do stuff with communication. You know, the Merrill School is important to be able to do that.
Honestly, Wade, that's the longest I've ever talked to you without you cracking wise. So I'm, and I love what you just said. Thank you. That's really cool.
So for those who don't know, Wade, tell us about your because you played there. You played at WSU. So tell
I
us
played
a little bit how you got there.
I played about 2 weeks when I got there, believe it or not. And I was able to, I was a definite training room player, but Mark Smaha was the head trainer at the time there. And I did get to get scared to death by George Yarno and of course, Coach McDonnell. But I needed another shoulder reconstruction. Whatever parts I got, I think they were either built on a Friday close to quitting time or Monday when they were hangover, as far as shoulders were. And I had graduated in '89, and I lost a scholarship to University of Colorado because at that time I was a Prop 48, and so I went up. I wanted to get out of Southern California. I went up to Walla Walla, where, you know, it was Coach Erickson at the time, Coach James at the time at University of Washington. Keep a little better eye on me, and my body just started falling apart, right? And I wasn't going to be graduating probably till '96. So I just, you know, Mark Smaha looked at me and says, "You want me to call your dad?" And I said, "God, that'd be great." And, you know, but most of all of my friends from Washington State are from the football team and people that were there and met and stuff. And so it's still important to me to support those guys. I mean, you know, I was going to be one of those guys. They thought enough of me to have me on the team. Believe it or not, some of them were dumb enough to think I wanted to come back my senior year after I'd been drinking and working in Pete's Bar and Grill and smoking cigarettes. And they said, "Wade, you can still do it. We've had a lot of knee injuries." And I said, "Man, I am fat. I am a fat toad. I am out of shape. There's no way I want to come back and be a Pac 10 punching bag." And that was guys like Todd Shaw and Clay Reese and Paul Reed and all those guys. I'm like, dude, no. And but the experience and really the program at Washington State has always been excellent. Whether that has been reflected in our record is here nor there. It's always been a great bunch of people, a great bunch of coaches, a great people that even if they did well or didn't do well, they believed in Washington State and they believed in what the Cougs were doing. And so that's why I come back and I hang out and I do those things.
So, you know, tell me about when you started first realizing about this whole NIL thing, and because we kind of were trying to figure this out together, and then as how it's grown on you and how your role and your level of understanding about NIL and the importance of it, because you're always talking about how, you know, I give back to school because I want to enhance the student athletes experience and I want to keep them connected to Washington State University, and how NIL plays a real critical role in that.
It was pretty wild. You know, believe it or not, I had a connection with Eric Morris, and Eric had been hired to be the offensive coordinator for Jake Dickert. And, you know, Mike had passed his name along to Pat at the time. And gosh, it was before Christmas and we were coming down here, and Eric gave me a call and he says, "Hey, Wade, you know, we need some travel money. It's tough to get from Houston for Cam's family and, you know, maybe a place to stay and all that stuff. And everything I'd ever known about being a donor or booster, whatever you want to call it, said that was a conversation that was off limits, you know. And
Mhm.
so that kind of morphed into, you know, the group that started, Jack, Jed, I think Greg Beckel was on it, Robbie Tobeck. We all kind of jumped in and you know, at that point we decided we all threw in $5,000 and figured, well, if this doesn't work out, we're going to fulfill our commitment and then bail out. But NIL's man, it's a tough thing.
Yeah.
I want to say it's a necessary evil. And of course I'm, you know, everybody knows, I don't know if you guys disclosed, I'm on, you know, on the board of the collective still, but I worry that NIL is not serving the athletes, the student athletes. I worry that kids are chasing 50,000, 100,000, something to go here. They're not advancing towards their degree. And you guys have also been on these conversations. It's just, it's tough because I you know, not everybody's going to play on the football team. There's, you know, anywhere from 85 to 100 and some kids. And really 22 of them are going to start, and there's going to be a few guys that swap in and out. The rest of them are going to be role players.
Well, and I want to just interrupt you for 1 second there, Wade, because I think that's a really important point that you're making. You know, I think people just assume since you're on the board for the collective, or you're on the board for the collective, or Jack, you know, they're on the that we're all gung ho about, you know, isn't this the best thing since sliced bread? And we have the same conversations amongst ourselves as
all the time,
all college fans have, which is like, what's going on with the sport that we love? So tell me, kind of past that, why, because you're dead on with everything you're saying. So why is it still important to you?
Well, we have to do the best we can. So Washington State is competitive. So they put out a good product. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a business. The product is football and wins. You know, if we do well with wins, attendance, enrollment, though that increases, you know, attendance at football games, students showing up. Gosh, you remember after the 18 season, the band just kind of exploded that one year. And I think, I don't remember who it was, but Robbie Tobeck and I were sitting around talking, and someone told us that they had to turn away band kids because they didn't have instruments. And Robbie and I are like, well, God, we can find a few instruments. I mean, these kids are wanting to dedicate their time to
get them in the band, right?
Get them in the band,
Yeah.
right? You know, we don't want to turn kids away, and so that's really important. I don't think if you work within the system and the things that are given you, you're kind of giving up, you know. And we can't do that. It's an ever-changing landscape. You guys know this. Everything that we've worked on has changed or morphed into something else since we began this. God, what, 4 or 5 years ago? And if we don't do it, who's going to do it?
Right.
I mean, really,
Exactly.
that's what it is. I mean, so whether or not we agree with some of the things is not here. I mean, there's a lot of things in just any sort of business or board that we're not going to agree on, and that's even true. We've had some pretty, you know, what do I want to say? I don't want to say heavy discussions, but excitable discussions versus what we think we should do or what we shouldn't, and how you know, ultimately that we steward the contributors' money the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why none of us take a salary or anything like that. Basically, the only overhead we're paying for is an accountant and a lawyer to keep us out of trouble with the NCAA and the IRS. And that's about the only money we spend.
The lawyer's working for free too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that's always important.
Brad Hutchins at the AD does a little bit of legal, but he also says I can't put a hot tub on the field.
Well, yeah, we'll deal with Brad later.
Not Brad Hutchins, other Brad. There's so
other
many
Brad.
Brads. Sorry,
Brad, no
I
hot tub
digress.
Brad.
Yeah, no hot tub Brad.
Well, look, I mean, we all know. Look, people aren't going to pay to see Drew Bledsoe or John Olerud in a hot tub. By God, they will pay to not see Wade Hogue there.
Get
You know what I mean?
Excellent point.
That's
so
that's the thing.
Whatever works. I mean,
You know, Mike and I
whatever
tweeted out a picture of me a few years ago that said, you know, I've decided to sell my nudes, you know, $5 to get some, $25 to not get some. And
So this is how every board meeting goes. There'll be a
Yes,
very,
it does. It goes, well, I
very,
mean, what do you want me to do? You
serious
want me-
discussion followed by
Look,
Wade talking about
Look,
news.
I held it
Yes,
together
we
for you
usually excuse
guys.
the female board members by then, though.
I held it together for 10 minutes, man. I thought that was pretty good.
It
I'm
was,
proud of you.
it was excellent.
Wade, you're talking to us from a place that looks a little bit warmer than where we are right now. Tell us about where you're at right now.
I'm on my deck in Key West.
All right.
Came
Who
down here, you
introduced
know
you to
that.
Key West?
Oh God.
So yeah, let's you and Coach Leach had a remarkably close personal relationship, correct?
Yeah, and I still marvel when I talk to Sharon. I don't know how that happened. I mean, I know how it happened. I got seated with him at night with Cougar football, right? And I had done the head coach's office. We'd done that the week after Bill left for Nebraska. Anyhow, I met Mike, and that was really about it that whole season until we got to night with Cougar football. And we're sitting there, and it was a buddy of mine's son, his wife. He played for Washington State. Todd Shaw, he's since passed away. But Todd and I and another gentleman that played, Kurt Lurcher, we used to go everywhere and see how much food we could shove in our mouth, right? And I asked, and once again, you put Mike and I together, and that table's going off the rails, right? Even Jason Gesser's like yelling at us because we're totally like yucking it up, and he's being the MC, right? He's the host, and he's like, "You guys can pay attention." And I'm like, "Sorry," but I dared Joey. I said, "Hey, if you can get that whole piece of cheesecake in your mouth in one bite, I'll do it," right? And well, he tried, and he just had it mashed all over his face and everything. And there's a video of it somewhere. Somebody's got it. But anyhow, it was my turn, and I took this piece of cheesecake, and I just put it right in there. I mean, it wasn't.
This doesn't happen at the Tai Club.
Yeah, and Mike looks at me, goes, "That's just genetic superiority right there." You know what I mean? And it kind of went off from there. And he came out the next season. He's like, "Hey, I think I want to come check out the RV lot. I'm gonna come sit with you." And that became kind of our Thursday night thing in town with another gentleman. We'd bounce back and forth, and he'd walk. He walked everywhere, so he'd walk to the coach's show, and then he'd walk back, and he was usually on the phone. He was usually talking to either Joe Faber or Joe Weed, one of the two Joes down here in Key West. And then we'd sit and drink and try to get back when Sharon told us to be back, and that never happened. But he really wanted me to come down to Key West, and he really wanted everybody to come down to Key West. And it's interesting is I kind of understood how he felt, because getting down, people down here is hard. Everybody wants to come down, but nobody ever makes the journey. I think there's, like I said, Robbie Tobeck comes down, once a year, and a couple other friends, but he loved it. So I came down right after, well, he had won Coach of the Year. And I was on the phone with him, and I said, "All right, I'm coming down Sunday." And he says, "Wait." He calls me back, says, wait. I got to go to Houston. I won, whatever it was, Coach of the Year. I said, "How do you know?" He says, "Well, I told him I'm in Key West. I don't want to come out if I won the award." And they said, "Well, we're not going to tell you." And he says, "Well, I ain't going to be fluff for your TV show. Either you tell me you won it, or I'm not coming, right?" And so they waited a day, and then they called Mike, and they said, "Oh, okay, you won." So he bummed a sport coat from somebody here and went and got the award, came back Thursday, and I was here, or Wednesday night, and I got here Thursday morning, and I don't think I saw the sunshine until our last day here. I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, we drank every night. And then we would walk. I mean, Mike, was like, he'd love to tell you stories. He knew everything about everything. The guy was just a sponge. We literally were partying. I stayed at a place called the Cocoa Plum Inn, great place. And we were partying with the owner of this place one night. And I was in this room, and I never got housekeeping because we'd go to Mr. Z's at 4 a.m. and we'd get, you know, he had the cheesesteak sandwich with easy cheese on it. I mean, just it was a scene. Well, they'd come in for housekeeping. I'd never answer the door. And finally, the night after we went out with him, like the third night there, the guy he knocks on the door. Hey, how you doing there? And I said, I'm good, you know. And he says, can I see you? And I go,
I need to do a
I think
Wellness
he's looking
check.
at doing a wellness check. And I open the door. Gosh, I don't remember his name. He's like, oh shit. And I go, yeah, I'm, you know. And so the last day, finally, when I was here, the coconut man was coming over to Mike's house to cut the tree, coconuts off the tree. And so I walked over and then walked back, grabbed my bag, and went out. And so I think it was after Mike had left and gone to Mississippi State. It was COVID, and they wanted me to come down there. I know it's a long story, and of course, Bill's probably going, Jesus, we got to get out of here.
Hey,
But,
this is exactly why I wanted you
No,
on
I was
here.
gonna
well,
make the show easy for us. Go ahead.
I drove down there, and I you know, it's COVID. It's the week of the Auburn game. Mason Miller calls me, Special Agent Spur, talked to him, all those guys immediately. I'm like, you got to come down. It's not great right now. And so I drive down there, and gosh, halfway through Nebraska, the Auburn game's canceled. So I go and I get down there, and we have nothing to do. I mean, nothing's like open, right? I mean, stuff was open in Starkville. We're sitting there the first night, and I was hungry. And I go, well, shit, nobody delivers pizza in this town? And Mason Miller, we're in my RV in Mike's house. He was having it remodeled, so he was living in the guest house. Mason looks at me and says, Trey Tinsley delivers pizza, and who is a GA on his staff. So he brought us some pizza, and we sat there and we drank a bottle of whiskey between us about every night. And one night we just started looking at properties, and you know, we talked about a property in Wyoming, like a ranch or something that had a few houses on it. Wouldn't that be neat? Blah, blah, blah. And he could have pet bison. And I said, what the fuck are you going to do with pet bison? He's like, well, oh, sorry, I dropped that F-bomb there. See, I get going on stories, but
That's all
and he
right.
This
says,
isn't broadcast
and he says,
television, you're fine.
he says, well, you're a pet bison. And I said, well, you know how to fix fence? Yeah, I'm Cody, Wyoming. I fix fence. And I said, I go, well, can Sharon operate a backhoe? Why does Sharon need to operate a backhoe? And I said, to stay between you and your pet bison while you're fixing fence, right? And he wanted me to buy also the property next to him in Starkville on this lake he had got. And he gets there and he's, you know, he had a lot of buddies in his life. Buddy Levy was the guy who helped him write his book. Buddy that owned the property he was on. He's like, yeah, Buddy's gonna come by. He's gonna pour you a pad. You'll have a you know, a transformer and a sewer tank or a septic tank. You'll be ready to go. And I said, man, let's look at Key West again. And we started looking at houses, and wait. I know this house. Sharon and I almost bought this house. And so, and I'm wrapping this up, I promise. So anyhow, I'll call the realtor. So I left like 2 days later. God, Mike would not shut up on the drive. He had nothing to do. I mean, he wasn't working or anything, right? And every hour, hey, are you hear from the realtor yet? I'm like, no. I even called Sharon, and I'm like, I go, hey, you need to choke Mike back at it. He's driving me up a wall, right? And that was second week of October, and I think we closed on the house in December. I didn't realize how close it was to Mike's house, but my house is probably 40 feet from his parking spot. So the house closes. I'm sitting there going, I got, you know, Mike gets the keys, right? You know, he
why
gets the
wouldn't he?
keys because I won't be there till February.
Yeah,
You
he'll
know,
get
I'm
it all
sitting
set
there,
up for
I
you.
gotta set shit up. And he's walking through FaceTime. He's like, well, you got 3 toasters. Look at this, you know, and everything. You know, and then he goes, oh, there's a lamp. I didn't know what you guys know me. I'm not a super fancy guy, right? I had no idea what restoration hardware was until I bought this house. And he's like, well, there's this lamp. It's not your style. I'm just going to take it now in your living room. And I'm like, no, don't touch shit, right? Don't take it. Yeah, it's not yours, you know, not that. And yeah, I got here in February and it was a great time. But yeah, I didn't, I couldn't believe how close it was to him. And you know, for God, 3 years, it was a great time. I mean, you know, my wife made the comment. She goes, I think, and I bought it sight unseen. My wife had never seen it. Been to Key West, and she says, well, I think I love Key West more than Wade does. And I said, well, it's not that I don't love Key West. It's that I just wish someone would be coming through that door every time I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of tough. Love the man very much. The most genuine person, probably one of the most genuine people I've ever met. Didn't give a shit who you were. I mean, I got stories forever, but after SEC Media Days, I'm picking up Mike. It's 12:30. To get from Birmingham, he had to go Birmingham, Atlanta to Charlotte, and Charlotte to Key West. And so I'm picking him up, and I'm there in a Mississippi State football shirt, Coug sweat shorts. Young kid next to me, he says, hey, he says, you know, Mike Leach owns a place down there. I said, oh, yeah, no, I've heard that, you know, stuff like that. And he says, well, I went to graduate Tennessee, and we all hate Mississippi State, but everybody at Tennessee loves Mike Leach. And sat and talked to him there for 20 minutes. And he was a kid that was in the Navy, and he took the opportunity to come down here and stay in Navy housing for 3-4 days because he was getting deployed, and he had asked his girlfriend to marry him. And so you sit here and talk to the kid for a while, and Mike's plane's a little late. And at that time, they didn't have a nice airport, so they could only service one airplane at a time with the stairway. And I looked at the kid. I said, hey, you want to meet Coach Leach? And he looked at me like, are you serious? And I said, yeah. I said, I'm picking him up. I said, he'd love to meet you, right? And so he rolls off, and then the kid's girlfriend rolls off. And this is, you got to mind you, we're supposed to be at it was Songwriters Festival, and we're supposed to be at some Bubba's house. I don't remember who it was, but it was Bubba. Mike sits there in the airport after he's done those, 1, 2, 3, 4 flights, whatever, and talks to this kid for a half hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tells him about Art, his nephew, and he's in the Marines and everything else like that, and asks him questions, and generally inquires about the two, and you know, where'd you do this, where'd you do that, blah 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 blah. Of course, I'm sitting there just going, look, man, I want to go to bed. But that's just how he was. I mean, you know, I've been blessed to meet a lot of people that are well known, notoriety, famous, whatever you want to call it. A lot of those people aren't looking for any new friends. Mike Leach talked to anybody. I mean, just anybody. And that's one of the most special things about him. Yeah, it's tough sometimes, but I'm in Key West. You know, I bought the house, and my family loves it, and we just got our boat down here. So we could have some time down here, and we see Sharon and the kids every so often and stuff, and it's a great place, but I just wish he was here.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that, Wade. And you've got a little bit of that. You'll sit and talk to anybody in you as well.
Oh, for sure.
I know the first time I met you talked to me for a while, and I was like, why is he wasting time with me? But we appreciate the hell out of you.
I'm nothing special, man. My time isn't any more important than anybody else's, to be honest with you. And
it's more important than Matt Mira's, at least.
Yeah.
It is
slightly
more important than Matt
than
Mira, but
yeah.
Something stunted his growth somewhere along the way. And
Mental or physical?
Yes.
Look, we all know. I mean, I don't want to say it publicly, and don't tell him I said this, but I'm pretty sure Matt
this is going to be on a public podcast, but go ahead.
Oh, well, then Matt didn't fully develop in the womb. Okay, that's the problem. and he knows that too. That Matt's one of the I think one of the brightest spots on the Cougar Collective board. To be honest,
I agree.
No, he absolutely is.
Great
We
guy.
just like giving him shit.
Oh yeah, no, we love giving him shit, and he loves giving it back to us, and I think that's what makes it really does make the group that we have and NIL and everything we do special, you know. And once again, we're all doing it because we love Washington State University.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. Well, Wade, thank you so much for
Thanks a
joining us.
million.
We'll have
That
you
was
back
fun.
on.
You're going to join us for our live Saturday. You know, we're going to be doing this thing live on Cougar Football Saturdays, probably from right outside your RV. So you're going to be on the show with us on
And in
Saturdays,
the
right?
wintertime,
How,
it'll be
how come
inside the
nobody
RV.
asks me that it's going to be right outside my RV?
Because again, in keeping with the theme of there is no more generous Coug than Wade Hogue, we just kind
Yeah,
of assume.
but what you got to understand with an RV and the RV lot and that spot, there's not a finite amount of or an infinite amount of water. There's a finite amount, and when everybody's got to go potty or whatever and do these things and stuff, then I don't get to take a shower. So you know what? We you know.
That's a sacrifice Bill is willing to make.
We only need like about 5 square feet, man, just to set up a table and a camera, man. That's all we need. We'll
And
use the
can't
porta
speak for
potties.
Bill, but I won't use the bathroom.
I'll use the porta potties. I'm
Yeah,
cool with
they're
that.
right there.
But Brian and I are both retired drinkers, so we don't use them as frequently as a lot of the other people do in the RV lot.
Really good point.
Yeah,
thank
excellent.
you.
Yeah, no, that's true. But you know, man, I got to tell you, see, my friends, I can't push them over to the because you know when it get close to game time, man, those could be a little iffy.
Man.
All right, so this okay. So this is how do you help the people who help? So look, not all of us can be a Wade. Some of us can't, you know, be even 1890 club members. But it's time, talent, or treasure. And if you have extra water,
Yeah.
and you're there for a Cougar Football Saturday, bring it by the RV lot and see if Wade needs some more water.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you can help Cougar Nation right now.
Wade, you're
Yeah,
the best, man.
And before I let you guys go really quick, I'd say to anybody who's out there watching, listening, the Cougar Collective is important. The 1890 Club is important. The products that we're working towards, you know, with Old Crimson wine and the lager and the drink from Paddock and everything else, all of that's important. And like Bill said earlier, every dime that we comes in from that, except for a couple small admin costs. I think last year we were at, what did we say, 97 cents on the dollar.
Yep.
Going
That's
straight back
just
to the
that's
student
just
athlete.
insane. So if you do, and you don't have to give big. That's the biggest thing. You don't have to give big. Anybody out there watching, or if they listen to that, you don't have to do that. There's a lot of things. I mean, if you don't want to give money, give time. I mean, there's always stuff. Contact one of us. You know, we'd love to have new people want to come in and do things. And it's just important to support the university the best way you know how. I'll tell you a real quick story about, and this will be a quick one, you guys. Do you have time?
Well, quick by Wade standards. So here we go. Settle in,
Well,
everyone.
I've been coming to the RV lot, and my buddy Todd, who's passed away, loved him to death. He was going to come back and help, at the time, Sean Deeds work security. He was he'd retired as a sheriff's deputy, and we were having a conversation going back down to the river. We were, you know, he was in his RV and I was down there too, and we'd come up to practice, and Coach Dickert asked us to talk to the team. I think it was before the Idaho game. And he was telling me about this, that he had talked to Sean, another great individual, that he was going to come back work security for free. And I said, that's great. I've got an RV pass for you. We'll get you in here. We'll teach you how to back it up. You couldn't back up a fifth wheel for shit. And he told me he wanted to do this because he wants to get back. And he says, well, Wado, you know, my nickname is Wado. He says, Wado, I haven't been as successful as you. And I told the story at his funeral, and I really had a problem with how he said that. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, you know, you've been married to the same woman you've been in love with. I'm already on my second marriage. You know what I mean? I mean, you got, you know, all sorts of things. And I really tried to lay it out, you know, that what he was given was just as important as what I would give or somebody else would. Because it was really from the heart. And that was a tough conversation. I didn't have it with him until about an hour later when I really thought through it. But, you know, Todd Shaw was one of the most successful people I know. And he wanted to find just a way to give back. And that's the most important thing. Don't be intimidated by someone that might give large amounts or do this or do that or blah, 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 or, hop on a podcast and smoke a cigar and tell stupid stories. Reach out and just ask. And we've been around long enough to know you guys, if we can't utilize what they have to give, we'll find somebody that will at Washington
Yeah.
State.
Amen.
Yeah, really well put. It's also, it's why we're the Cougar Collective, not the Cougar individuals
That's right.
either. Like, I got to say, I really like the makeup of the board right now because everybody seems to be rowing in the same direction. So, Wade, thank you so much
Yep.
for
You're the
joining
best,
us.
man.
Enjoy the rest of your time down
Thanks
there.
a million.
Yep, you bet. It was a pleasure, and I'm humbled you asked me.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
All right. So, before we wrap it up, last week I made an error. I gave Brandon the wrong video to upload.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
let's set it up. So
Yeah.
last week we were the Helinskis joined us,
Yes.
which I thought was I'm jacked about that.
That was a great
It was
interview.
a tough interview, but it was powerful and educational. And so I'd reached out to General Kirby Moore. I said, hey, we're having the Helinskis on. Why don't you do a special message about Cougs, looking out for Cougs, and, maybe talk a little bit about Tyler. And so he wrote a message that I had even set up at the beginning of the show, like, hey, this is a bit of a tearjerker. I mean, I actually teared up reading it. And then somehow or another, we played the wrong video. And I didn't know it had happened until the general reached out.
Because we can't hear the videos
We can't
when
hear
they're
it when
on.
they play here. You
Yeah.
all can't, right? And so they all look the same,
Yeah.
right? So you can't tell it apart because, it's all that brilliant video editing by me. But then the general sent me a message like, did you guys have a technical problem? I'm like, I was actually sitting at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, actually, because as you know, I flew out of
Whenever you talk about the general, I picture just like a
Me talking to
Tyler
me.
Durden Fight Club flashback
No,
going
I
on.
showed you.
No.
I showed him when we were down at Marco Polo. I showed you the text exchange I had
Uh-huh.
with him.
And it
Yeah.
was a lot like, when if you ever get stopped by somebody on the street talking about chemtrails or something, it felt a lot
Listen,
like that.
I don't know if you're in a position tonight after all the games you played on the podcast. We did have a last minute cancellation. We won't get into that. It sounds like it was a pretty legitimate reason to have a cancellation. So I get all queued up that we're going to have all these guests. You end up bringing Wade. Now, the good news is that I'm actually glad we got to do that. Because I do mean everybody, and I'm going to step outside of being a member of the Cougar Collective for a second, talk about everyone else on the board.
Yeah.
Okay. But the amount of generosity and time and energy that is put into the Cougar Collective by people who are doing it for no reason other than they just love Washington State University is immeasurable.
I tell people it's like the nerdiest fantasy football league
Yeah.
possible.
It's a passion project if ever there was a passion project. But of all the people, I mean, we get to use Hurley Media Studios right here, thanks to you, and everyone gives in their way to it. But Wade gives as much to WSU, not just to the collective,
Mhm.
but to WSU in general. And I'm not talking about just money. He does that. He definitely does that. But he puts in so if President Cantwell called, if John Harlow called or anything like that, he would drop what he was doing and get right there to help him them whatever way he
and
could
he doesn't leverage it.
at all. And he doesn't like to talk about it. If we
Yeah.
don't talk about it, people won't know
He even got uncomfortable just
Yeah.
like you with the
Yeah.
compliments.
And by the way, when you guys go to Cougar Collective events and you see food, beverage, stuff like that, do you think we're blowing the student athlete money to do that?
Nope.
We're not. That's how we stay at about 97 cents on the dollar. So it's typically guys like Wade, Matt Mira,
Mira.
are two that routinely step up and cover the food and beverage costs for our social events.
Yeah.
We have never spent a penny of the student athletes' money for any of that.
And I think that's a big darn deal. I mean, like, look, we're on a podcast. We're having fun. There are so many people like Wade, like Matt,
Yeah.
like Tim, like Luke.
Yeah.
I just think of our entire board. And these are people like, and honestly, like, we have fun on those board meetings because
We do.
It's like I look forward to it because it's like, let me just,
It's a nice
BS with
cross section
these
of Cougs
guys.
too, because we got all these generations in there, right? We
Mhm.
got people that graduated in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. And so we got this nice cross section of Cougs.
which is nice because there's times too, like, when a coach quits twice, 2 years in a row, almost to the
Yeah.
date.
Yeah.
Jack has gotten on the phone with me and talked me off.
Yeah, the
damn
younger
ledge.
ones are
it's
about ready to
like,
throw themselves off a bridge,
We've
and
been
guys like
through
me
this
and Jack
before,
are like, "This is Tuesday."
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, welcome to the club, man.
Yeah,
Right?
totally. So,
But anyway, circling back, so the general put together a message,
Yes.
and we promised we were going to get it right. So we present, and Cougs, this is a really important message. I think, a lot in following up what Wade was talking about, how we got to look out for each other in whatever we can. Harken back to what we talked about with the Helinskis last week, and then listen to what the good general has to say here.
To Cougar Nation, tonight I write not of battles on the gridiron, nor of rivals to the west who dare challenge our banner. Tonight I write of a Cougar whose story binds this brotherhood together in ways deeper than any scoreboard. His name was Tyler Helinski. Some of you remember the winter night in Pullman against the Blue Men from Boise, when the snow fell softly and the lights of Martin Stadium shined like lanterns across the Palouse. That night, Tyler led our Cougs with courage and fire, throwing for yards and touchdowns as if the spirit of Cougar Nation itself guided his arm. He was young, he was talented, and above all, he was one of us. But the measure of a man is not only found in victories. In the years since we lost Tyler, the Cougar family has learned that strength is not only charging forward into battle. Strength is also looking after the teammate beside you in the trench. It is speaking up when the weight of the world feels too heavy to carry alone. From Tyler's memory rose something powerful, the Helinski's hope, founded by his family, so that no young athlete, no student, no Cougar would ever feel they must fight their struggles alone. His legacy lives not just in touchdowns, but in conversations, compassion, and courage. So I ask you, Cougar Nation, when you fill Martin Stadium, when the band plays and the flags whip across the Palouse wind, remember Tyler. Remember the young quarterback who wore our colors with pride. But more importantly, remember to look after one another. Check on your teammates. Call your friends. Hug your family. The strength of Cougar Nation has never been just football. It has always been the bond between us. We play for the Crimson, we play for the Gray, and we play for every Cougar who has ever worn the uniform, especially Tyler. Stand tall, Cougar Nation. Carry his spirit forward. The battles ahead will be fierce, but we face them together. For Tyler, for Pullman, for the Crimson and Gray. Respectfully, General Kirby Moore.
all right.
How good was that by the general there?
It's
Huh?
pretty good.
It was pretty
It's
good.
pretty
It's pretty good. Hey, we got to put a few plugs in before we sign off for the night. Let's tell everyone, Cougs First Business Network, big Seattle show, May 29th. Not far from we just did Night with Cougar Athletics.
in
Actually,
that-
right
it's
down
in
the
that
street.
Triangle,
That little triangle building
right
that used to be next to the viaduct.
there. Yes, used to be kind of be under it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was actually
Yeah.
wedged in amongst
Actually,
the viaduct
I
there.
see that little rock right there.
Yeah,
That's from the viaduct.
Is that
right
part of the
there.
viaduct?
Right there. I walked over
That's
across
awesome.
the street and picked that
so
up.
and we're going to be going live from the Cougs First Business Network there, aren't we?
We are, and I'm super excited
We are.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that part of the end of the day where people get the old Crimson flowing,
Oh yeah.
and we'll get some hot mics going.
We'll get some hot mic. That
Yeah,
will be
it'll
fun.
be fun.
That'll be fun. Listen, couple other plugs. Old Crimson Lager, Old Crimson Cocktail linked up down below. The Old Crimson Coffee, the Old Crimson Store linked up down below. Most importantly, what's linked up down below is a way for you to become part of the 1890 Club. If you're not a member of it already, what's up with that? Let's get with it, Cougs. We are all we got, but we are all we need.
That's right. Thank you so much to Zebi for joining us today, and thank you, Wade, for
Yeah.
bearing with us. And
It was a good interview.
You know what's funny? He talks about how like he and Mike would just talk all night. Could you imagine if there was a recording of those?
Can you
phone
imagine
calls?
being the third person
No.
sitting in there where you literally would never get a word in edgewise? No, think about it. Think about it. Think about, let's say you're going out to dinner. You're going out for a night of drinking and dinner with Mike Leach and Wade Hogue.
I wouldn't.
How
have to
would
say
you
anything.
ever get a now? Would you be entertained beyond belief?
Yeah.
Right?
But the pressure of when you did get that moment to speak, I think would be
You better
too
shine.
You better,
better
you
shine.
better shine. So,
Yeah. Come up with some really, really smart shit.
but thank you to both of our
Yeah, for
guests
sure.
tonight, and I think we're gonna call it a night.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.